Over the last few weeks, I've been reading through some Reddit threads for independent shop owners. Honestly, the feeling was heavy. You could feel the strain. And there was this one comment that just stopped me in my tracks, because I'm sure you've thought it too. How am I supposed to compete with Amazon when they can deliver the same thing cheaper by tomorrow at the latest, whilst I'm sitting here in an empty shop? But here's the thing I've learned after 30 years in retail. You're not competing with Amazon at all. And the moment you realize that, that's when everything changes. Hi, I'm Keith Lockwood. For over 30 years, I've worked with retailers, from the biggest chains and fashion houses from San Francisco, London and Milan, to the smallest independents, like the fabulous Frankie's craft shop in Dorset. Now I help shops like yours implement the clear, practical systems the big guys use, so you can thrive no matter the economic weather. Let's be honest about what we're up against. A customer can be sitting on their sofa in their pajamas, cup of tea going cold on the armrest, browsing millions of products. One click, delivered tomorrow at the latest, often for less than you can possibly sell it for. No hunting for parking, no trudging through dodgy weather, no navigating the high street gauntlet of charity shops, vape stores and that one phone repair place that's never actually open. On paper, game over before you've even counted the float. And I completely understand why you feel that way. The news keeps banging on about retail apocalypse. Your own quiet Tuesdays just reinforce the narrative, don't they? But what if we've all been looking at this wrong? What if you've been measuring yourself against the wrong yardstick this whole time? Here's what I've seen across those 3 decades. Amazon isn't your competitor. Convenience isn't your competitor. Even price isn't your competitor. Your actual competitor is apathy and sameness. Let me explain. When someone chooses to visit your shop instead of opening their phone, and that's a choice, they're not looking for the cheapest widget or the fastest delivery. They could have got that in 30 seconds without leaving the house. What they're actually craving is something Amazon simply can't do. What it won't do, and frankly, it doesn't care about. A reason to care. Think about the shops that you personally visit and love. Just take some time and have a think about one now. I bet they're not the ones trying to out Amazon. They're the ones that make you feel something. The shopkeeper who remembers what you bought last time. The displays that tell a proper story. The place where walking in just feels different, welcoming. These shops aren't playing the same game. They're offering something fundamentally different. They're offering connection, curation, and experience. And that's not motivational fluff. That's strategy based on what actually works. So let's get practical. Let's talk about your actual advantage. 3 things you have over Amazon and that they will never ever have. Advantage number 1, you can adapt in minutes, not months. Amazon's entire model requires scale and systems, everything locked into algorithms, warehouses the size of small towns, supply chains that move like cargo ships, slow and impossible to turn. You can spot a trend on Tuesday, source new stock on Wednesday, and have it beautifully displayed by Friday. When I worked in fashion, we could respond to what was actually selling on the shop floor within days. The big chains were locked into buying decisions made 6 months earlier. That agility, that's real. That matters. You can test, pivot, respond to your actual customers in real time. And that's a proper competitive advantage. Advantage number 2, you can build genuine relationships. When someone walks into your shop, you have the chance for a real human connection. You can learn their story, remember their preferences, make recommendations based on actually knowing them, not their browsing history. This isn't scalable. It can't be automated, and that's precisely why it's so valuable. I knew a shopkeeper in Oxford who kept a little notebook behind the counter. Just names and tiny details. Mrs. Patterson's grandson, birthday in June, loves dinosaurs. That's not creepy database marketing, that's caring, and people know the difference. So advantage number 3, you can create theatre. Your shop can be an event, a destination. Windows displays that shock people mid-scroll. In-store experiences that become moments worth sharing. Seasonal changes that become part of the local calendar. Oh, it must be nearly Christmas. The window at which shop has changed. This doesn't require massive budgets. It requires imagination and attention to detail. Things independents are naturally brilliant at when we're not paralyzed by trying to compete on someone else's terms. So once you accept you're not competing with Amazon, everything becomes clear. You stop worrying about matching their prices, which frankly is impossible anyway. Instead, you start asking much better strategic questions. What can I offer that genuinely can't be found online? Why would someone choose to visit me rather than click a button? What experience am I creating that's worth the journey? Understanding the answers is what separates shops that thrive from those that struggle. So let's make this practical. Here's something you can do this week that won't take you long, but it matters. It really matters. Grab a piece of paper or open a note on your phone and complete this exercise. And it's listed below as well. List 3 specific things your shop offers that Amazon cannot replicate. And be concrete, not better service, but I remember Mrs. Patterson's grandson's birthday. Not unique products, but I stock items from 3 local makers who only work with independents. So here's a framework. 1, personal relationship advantage. What do you know about your customers that an algorithm never could? Number 2, curation, expertise advantage. What special knowledge or taste do you bring that can't be automated? And 3, experience, atmosphere advantage. What does it feel like to be in your shop that can't be captured in pixels? Write these down, pin them up. These are your actual competitive advantages. The things you should be doubling down on, not apologizing for. Over the next few weeks, we'll explore how to amplify each of these. But for now, just identify them. Get clear on what game you're really playing. This is week 1 of 52-week journey through the real challenges facing independent retail here in the UK. Every week, I'll share one practical insight drawn from my 30 years of experience in retail. No jargon, no consultant speak, just honest observations and practical tools you can actually use. Next week, we'll talk about window displays, specifically the kind that stop people mid-scroll and make them think, oh, I really need to go into that shop. Because if you're not competing on convenience, your shop needs to become a destination worth the journey. So over to you. What's the one thing your shop does that an algorithm could never replicate? Drop it in the comments below. I read every single one, and your insights often shape what we talk about next week. So until next week, write that list, pin it somewhere that you can see it, and the details are in the little descriptor below. Have a great week and speak to you next time. Take care. Bye-bye.